Hello everyone, and welcome back to mountmoontcg. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at what I consider to be the top 10 best competitive cards from the upcoming set, Mega Evolution Perfect Order, set to be released March 27th, which should be 1 week right after this video comes out. So go check out some product. There's some pretty neat cards in this set. There might also be some pre-releases in your area, so go check those out to get a head start look at some of these cards. Some pretty decent cards in this set. A couple of reprints. The big one is Pokepad, which, a little bit hard to get your hands on right now, but there's a reprint of Pokepad in this set. Also getting reprints of cards like Judge and Pokemon Catcher, cards that would have rotated if they weren't reprinted in this set, but they are getting reprinted in this set. So we're getting reprints of those cards. So that's pretty good. Both of those are pretty decent cards. So with that being said, let's take a look at what I think are top 10 best cards from Perfect Order. So number 10, we have Yveltal EX. Really in here for the first attack, Destructive Soul. Knock out each of your opponent's Pokemon that has 50 HP or less remaining. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can get a lot of damage counters on your opponent's side of the field. One of the big ones, you can use like Monkey Dory to, soften up some of those big Pokemon, to put some damage counters on your side of the field to their side of the field to soften them up. There's also the Frostlass, which sees a lot of play in Marnie's Grimmsnarl decks. So if they have a Pokemon with an ability in play, they take a bunch of damage counters. If you have like 2 or 3 of them in play, so that's about 2 or 3 damage counters on that Pokemon per between turns. So that damage can stack up pretty quickly here. You can also play something like a Duskull, a Dusknoir, Dusclops if you really, really want to get some of those bigger Pokemon EX HP down as fast as possible. And then hopefully with Destructive Soul, you can take like 3 or 4 different knockouts. So Yveltal could be pretty interesting. I don't know if it's going to see a whole lot of play, but it's definitely very interesting. Next up at number 9, we have Mega Zygarde EX. Mega Zygarde EX is another very interesting card. It'll pair up very nicely with a couple of other cards on this list. We will get to that in a little bit. Gaia Wave for 3 energy does 200, and then you take 30 less damage from attacks during your next turn. And then the second attack is Monkey's Zero, I think it's how it's pronounced. It's for a whopping 5 energy. For each of your opponent's Pokemon, flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 150 damage to that Pokemon. So if you're going against a single prize deck and they don't have their Shaman in play, this could potentially take a couple of knockouts. 2 or 3 knockouts would be really, really cool. And it's for the active and bench Pokemon. So hopefully you can take like 2 or 3 different knockouts and leave your opponent, not in a very good spot because you took 3 prize cards and you knocked out 3 of their Pokemon, at least. About 50-50 dictates that you should at least flip 3 heads out of 6. Sometimes you might flip 6 out of 6, you might flip 0 out of 6. So it's a very, it's going to be very interesting to see who makes this deck work. I know a lot of players like to play these coin flippy decks like Larry's Dum Dunsparce EX and stuff like that. This will see some play. Very, very interesting. So Mega Zygarde here at number 9. Next up at number 8, we have another Mega Skarmory EX. It is a metal type. So this will be very good for some of those Steven's Metagross decks or Archaludon decks. There's a ton of different ways that you can accelerate metal energy into play pretty quick. And I think Mega Skarmory will fit into those decks. For 3 energy, Sonic Ripper, shuffle all energy from this Pokemon into your deck. This attack does 220 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So this can easily snipe something like a Pheasantipity EX that's on the bench, or any other non-like Terra basic, because we know Terras, they stop those damage done to the bench. But I mean, if they're in the active, that's free game. So this, like I said, it works very well with like the Steven's Metagross, where it likes to accelerate some energy. And then you can Mega Skarmory, shuffle that energy back in, and then reattach it with Steven's Metagross, whatnot. So this is a very interesting card. It's also got Free Retreat, which is actually pretty good on a big basic Mega Pokemon. So Mega Skarmory is here at number 8. Next up at number 7, we have Decidueye EX. Now, like I said, with Judge coming back, being reprinted in this set, this makes this card a heck of a lot better. The ability Sniper Eye, if your opponent has exactly 4 cards in their hand, ignore all colorless cost in this Pokemon's attack. And it has 3, so they have 4. That means you can use the attack for 1 grass energy. Crash Out for 240, discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So this is pretty good because you judge your opponent down to 4 cards if they had a huge card hand, so that's really nice. Could ruin their hand a little bit. But also, if you have 4 cards in your hand, I know some Pokemon, there's been other Pokemon where it's like you have to have the same cards in your hand as your opponent, or you have to have 4 cards in your hand to use certain attacks, or attacks cost less. The beauty of Decidueye is, there's a few things actually that Decidueye has going for it. You just have to put them down to 4 cards so you can judge, and then you get 4 cards in your hand, and you can still play those cards. So that doesn't limit to what you can do after you judge. Decidueye also has access to Force of Vitality, so you can go Rowlet, Dartrix, Decidueye pretty darn quickly. 240 can hit some big numbers. Like I said, there's Pheasantipity, there's Teal Mask Ogerpon, Wellspring Mask Ogerpon. There's a couple of other like basic Pokemon EXs that this Pokemon can one-shot for 1 energy. Pretty darn good. Decidueye is here at number 7. At number 6, we have Terragon. Terragon is a supporter that helps out these fighting-type decks, which we will see being run a little bit after Perfect Order comes out. Put up to 4 in any combination of fighting Pokemon and basic fighting energy from your discard pile into your hand. Now, I know we're losing cards like Super Rod. Super Rod was a way to get some of these Pokemon and basic energy from your discard back into the deck. The only thing we've seen that's similar to this is something like Lana's Aid, but you cannot get rule box Pokemon, I believe. You can only get like your single prize Pokemon and energy. Terragon, you can actually get something like a Mega Zygarde if it was knocked out and you put it in the discard pile or something. It's just any combination of fighting Pokemon and basic fighting energy. So this will be really great for these fighting decks going forward. Fighting gets a whole bunch of help going forward. Very interesting to see where it goes. Terragon is here at number 6. Next up at number 5, we have Mega Starmie EX, which is arguably the best Mega in this set. Mega Starmie is a Stage 1 Water-type Pokemon for 330 HP. The first attack is Jet Blow, does 120, and the attack does 50 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So this is a way that you can get some damage pretty quickly for 1 energy. You can soften up the active while softening up something on the bench. Yeah, if there's like a Ralts or something, if you're playing against something like Mega Gardevoir, can soften up that Ralts and then come down the line later, and maybe you can knock it out again with Jet Blow if it stays on the bench, or do something with this. I mean, if you think about it, it does 170 for 1 energy in total, which is not bad at all. And then you could heal it with the Wally card, and then you can just reattach the energy, and it's not bad. You can just keep going. So just hopefully they don't knock you out. Mega Starmie seems very interesting. I'm not the biggest fan of Mega Starmie right now, but I'm assuming when I start playtesting it on PTCG Live, my mind might change. That's definitely happened in the past. A lot of people in my league very excited for Mega Starmie. I'll wait and see. But Mega Starmie here at number 5 seems pretty interesting. Next up at number 4, we have Rosa's Encouragement, a supporter card that states you can only use this card if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. Attach up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your Stage 2 Pokemon. So obviously this is only really, really good in a Stage 2 deck. One of the big Stage 2 decks after rotation is going to be the Dragapult EX. And Dragapult EX likes to play things like Dusknoir, Dusclops. So that's a way that you can put damage into play, get behind on prize cards, and then play something like Rosa's Encouragement, where you can attach 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to that Dragapult. Seems pretty good. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of Stage 2s that are going to love this card to keep that energy into play when you're behind on prize cards. It's a neat little supporter, and can't wait to see where Stage 2 decks go from here. Rosa's Encouragement here at number 4. Up next at number 3, we have Barbaracle, and this is the final piece to these fighting decks. Barbaracle, pretty good. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic fighting energy card from your hand to one of your fighting Pokemon. Now, it's like we've seen before with some of the like Blastoise and Excalibur and things like that, but it's a little bit better because, I mean, it's one instead of like you can do like a boatload like with Excalibur and Blastoise. It's once per turn, but you can attach it to the active. So if your opponent decides to boss something into the active to get it stuck, you can still use Stone Arms to attach energy from your hand to the active and then attach per turn. And then if you have another Barbaracle, there's another one. So you could potentially, they think that they trapped you, but nope, you got another Pokemon ready to attack with. Like I said, it's not as good as attaching as much as you want during your turn. It's just once during your turn, but it's still pretty darn good. It's definitely going to help these fighting decks out, especially like the Mega Zygarde, if it's going to see play because it needs 5 energy. But this is going to stay in the format for about 2-3 years, so it's got a definite good chance to be good. Barbaracle here at number 3. Next up at number 2, we have Telepath Psychic Energy. It's a special energy. When you attach this card from your hand to one of your Psychic Pokemon, keep that in mind, it has to be attached to a Psychic Pokemon. To use this effect, you can attach it to anything else, but you don't get the full effect unless you attach it to a Psychic. You may search your deck for up to 2 basic Psychic Pokemon and put them onto your bench. Shuffle your deck. This is very similar to special energy we've had in the past. We've had Call Energy and excuse me, a couple of energies like that in the past, where you attach it and then you can get some Pokemon from the deck, put it onto your bench. Yeah, it's pretty good. Psychic is still going to be pretty decent going forward. Luckily, Gardevoir will rotate. The Gardevoir EX does rotate from Scarlet and Violet, so Psychic decks won't be as good, but they're still going to be sticking around. So if you don't like Psychic decks, this is just a little piece of that puzzle that's going to be a little bit more annoying. Yep, Nestball who, says these Psychic decks. Telepath Psychic Energy here at number 2. And finally, at number 1, what I think is the best card coming from Perfect Order is Meowth EX. Now, you might be looking at Meowth EX if you're an unexperienced player and thinking, what is so great about this card? Its HP is low. The attack stinks. What is so great about this card? The ability is what's really great about this card. Last Ditch Catch. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to your bench during your turn, you may search your deck for a supporter card. Reveal it and put it into your hand. You may only use one ability with Last Ditch in its name per turn. For older players, you might remember cards like Luminion V, Tapu Lele GX, Jirachi EX, and those all did the same thing. Play from your hand onto your bench, look for a supporter card to put into your hand. This is really good Because now if you have Ultra Ball in your hand, you can get a boss's orders to win the game. Ultra Ball grabs the Meowth, Meowth onto bench, get the boss's orders, last ditch call, win the game. Ultra Ball for game is back in the format. Yeah, the fact that it can get powerful supporters that you need during that turn, it's pretty darn good. The bad side is it's 170 HP. It's going to get sniped by things like maybe Decidueye, EX, Mega Skarmory. It's a bit, that's a little bit of a downside, but getting a supporter is really, really powerful. And it's pretty much going to go into every single deck. It's really good. Raging Bolt needs it to get Crispins. You might need it to get the Rosas for these Dragapult decks. You might need it to get Judge for these Decidueye decks. You'll need it to get Boss to take out the final prize card to win the game. It's really, really good. It's got a retreat cost of 1, and it is weak to fighting. Fighting is going to be relevant. There's still Lucario. There's still Cynthia's Garchomp. There's Mega Zygarde, Barbaracle, even Tyrantrum and things like that in this set. Yep, it's got a bit of a downside, but I think the ability more than makes up for it. So that is my list, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think? What are your top 10 favorite cards from Perfect Order? Let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe, and be sure to join us for some more awesome perks right here on Mount Moon TCG.